Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and today I'd like to share with you some outside-the-box ideas that I created with the contents of the January 2021 Sending Hearts Paper Pumpkin Kit. These monthly kits are delivered to my mailbox each month and contain everything I need to make fun, creative paper crafting cards and projects. This month's kit contains supplies for making 8 adorable full-size cards, 4 of 2 different designs. Each kit also includes a publication like this one with directions, tips, photos, details about the kit, and a link to a how-to video to help guide me in assembling. And I also received 2 items that I can use over and over again, even after the consumables from this kit are used up. This mini ink pad and this exclusive stamp set. A clear block, which was included free with my first kit for mounting and using my stamps, and my scissors are the only extra supplies that I really need to provide. Paper pumpkin kits are super affordable, just $22 plus tax per month in the US. Shipping is included, you control which months you get your kits, and there's no commitment or obligation. These kits are produced through Stampin' Up!, so the colors, images, and supplies always coordinate with many other Stampin' Up! Products. I'll be using some of these as I share my alternate projects. You can find the items I used listed below and linked to my online store. You can also look below for links to learning more about paper pumpkin kits, starting your subscription through me so I can spoil you with exclusive ideas, gifts, and prizes, joining my Paper Pumpkin fan club on Facebook where you can see even more alternate project ideas shared daily, and if you're watching my video on YouTube, a link to my website where I've shared photos of the projects I'm going to share with you today. You'll see that I substitute that mini ink pad and clear block from my first kit for this larger version of the ink pad and some ergonomic blocks. You won't need these, of course, but they are available products from Stampin' Up! And they're a bit easier for me to use while I demonstrate in the video. Your kit also comes with adhesives, but you'll see me using additional ones such as my seal adhesive for ease in demonstrating. By the way, did you see the flyer that's in the kit? This is advertising an additional product that you could purchase from the online store or from your demonstrator. It is available now while I'm recording through when it becomes unavailable for when it, through when it sells out. But it's called the Little Love Boxes Paper Pumpkin Add-on, and it comes in this cute little packet like this. It's an optional purchase, but again, it coordinates with the kit and it makes your kit go a little bit further. It's $8 US, and again, you would just purchase it in the online store. There will be shipping on it, so you may want to include other products such as, I don't know, maybe some adhesives or other coordinating things that I share with you in this video. But let's dive in and let's have fun. Here we go. My mind is reeling with ideas. The first thing that I thought of is 8 cards. How can I make them more? I like to do that. I like to take the amount of supplies in a kit and double it, or sometimes go beyond double, which is what I did with this one. So I took the supplies for this card, and I took the supplies for this card, and that times 4 equals everything, right? So I took those supplies, and I created 5 cards from 2. So if I could get 5 cards from 2, 5 times 4 equals 20. I got 20. You can make 20 cards from this kit. Now, what did I have to add in order to do that? So if you're looking for something to put into the order with that add-on kit, you could get a pack of the basic white cardstock and a pack of the basic white envelopes, and you could get a black ink. Let's go ahead and cut down some pieces. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. For the envelopes, you'll see that they're slightly wider than 5.5 inches, but we want to make them 5.5 inches wide. So I'm going to trim off about 1/8 of an inch from this side and bring it right up to the 5.5 inch mark, and I can trim off the rest. Then we're going to open this up, and this score line here is going to become part of our card base. So if we're making a 5.5 by 4.25 inch card, that means that we can actually cut off, if you can see here now that I've got it bent, we can cut off another 1/8 of an inch here on the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this score line with that 4 1/4 inch mark here, which carries down into this section here. Do you see that? So we're going to go ahead and cut right there. This is going to become extra red paper to use. This is going to become the front of our card, and this here is going to connect to a white piece for the inside of the card. So we've almost got that white base done, or that card base done. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So for these two card bases, I'm cutting them in half at the score line. I'm going to save 2 for full size. These two I'm going to trim down a little bit. So I'm going to trim off 1/4 of an inch on each side. And that will give me 2 layers. One of them will actually be layered onto this piece here. So you can see it creates a border when you layer it. This one will go on a white card base. And then this piece here, I'm going to trim off 1 1/4 inches from each end. And because there's a pattern on here, I am going to do it from each end. And I'm going to keep them in order. This cardstock, this is the basic white cardstock. I'm going to score it down the middle at 4 1/4. I'm going to cut it in half at 5 1/2. And I've got 2 card bases. I'm going to make a 3rd card base from this piece. So first I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to score. And then this piece I'm going to cut in half. Now I forgot 2 important tools that I also used on the cards, and those are the heart punches. You will love adding these punches into the cards because they're going to just make the cards fabulous. And then I have just a few more pieces to prepare. For this piece here, which I want to cut this way, I'm going to grab just a sticky note, like a post-it note, and attach that to one end. And I'm going to trim it somewhat down the middle. I'm going to trim it at the 1/4 inch mark here, I think. So you can see I'm just kind of tacking it down onto my trimmer with that post-it note. That'll hold it in place. I can trim right through, and now I've got 2 pieces. The ribbon I'm going to cut that at, so 8 inches. And the other piece is going to be 16. Okay, and then there are 2 pieces like this. This is the scrap of the envelope. What I first started doing, I peeled off this piece here, and then I realized I didn't need to do that. I could just flip it over so that I don't see that connection. And I can go ahead and punch my scallop hearts, and I can fit a lot of scallop hearts in here. I can do 1 in each corner. And then I can do 1 right here. So altogether from those 2 layers, I could get 6 hearts. And then from this piece, this is just an extra piece of basic white cardstock. I am going to stamp on this with the heart image that's in the kit. And after I've stamped it, I will punch it out with this punch. So we're going to start with this one here. And we're going to fold our white in half. Emphasize the crease with our bone folder. So because black is one of the colors that is in the kit color combo, I thought that would be a good ink color to bring in. It's nice and bold, and it kind of balances out the small amount of black that is within the pieces of the kit. So first what I did, because this is a satin type of ribbon, I first tied it in a knot, and that would allow my bow, the way I do my bows, it would allow my bow to kind of go off to the side instead of going straight across. And I wanted that look, so now I can move my ribbon off to the side. This piece will go on next. I want to make sure my ribbon is in there, in view. So let's stamp that with our black ink. And there is that finished card. I balanced out the love with a little bit of a couple of those little fun stickers. All right, this next one is fairly simple also. We're going to take our, we have to first make sure that we've lined up everything. So make sure your pattern is still in alignment. We're going to flip these two pieces over and add them to the top and the bottom of the card base. Then we're going to flip this piece over, and it's okay, by the way, if there's some gaps in there, because we're going to add these two border pieces. We're going to make our adhesive go right along the edge. And then the scallop one, and again, making sure you're in the right place. The scallop one is going to go on the bottom. And you know what? You can see how it's a little bit wider there. I've decided I'm going to center it because then I can trim off the ends evenly. And now we're going to put this up on dimensionals. And because we have sticky all the way, you may even want to put a few dimensionals in between, or if you've never done this before, there are sections of your dimensionals that are usable that a lot of people forget about, and it's the edges. So we're going to put one right there, and we'll put the other one on the other side. Now, if you're going to make 4 of these cards, then of course you can't do that trick, but just wanted to teach you that in case you weren't aware of that. And then the stickiness doesn't really reach the base of the card. And we're going to stamp the word U. Because our dimensionals on this red layer are right along here and here, we can put dimensionals here and we still won't have to worry about the extra postage, because this will just kind of squish the middle in when it gets mailed. But when you take it out of the envelope, it'll pop back up and you'll have that extra lift. For the next card, we're going to stamp with the Poppy Parade ink, the color that comes in the kit. We're going to go ahead and fill in that little area where you're instructed to do so with your stamp. And then we're going to clean off the stamp and we're going to move to the black color for the rest. You'll notice I changed backgrounds here. I'm experimenting with backgrounds. Okay, so now we're going to ink up that same image in the black ink, and we're going to stamp it down here. And we're going to stamp it over here. And we're going to stamp it up in here. So you can see what we're doing. We're just kind of making that mailbox spray of hearts and flowers kind of go beyond that layer. We'll stamp the image, the sentiment that says "Sending love your way." At this point, I want to introduce to you a coordinating product that you could use in your kit. In fact, it's coordinated with a lot of kits recently that have gold in them. It's our Forever Gold laser cut paper, and I was thinking for this card, if you wanted to, you could do like an angled piece here, because it's not perfectly the same, you know, it doesn't layer underneath perfectly. But if you angled it somewhat and then put this piece on top, you'd have that little hint of a frame underneath. And you could really use any of these pieces because they all have kind of a fun little extra dose of gold in them. We're going to go ahead and add this piece with some dimensionals, but let's first take and add our card base interior, our basic white here. What I did do, and you may find this is true for you though too, is when I cut this I cut the cardstock in half and then I cut it in half again, but I found that the white edge was kind of peeking through, so I had to cut off about another 1/16 of an inch in order for it to line up a little bit better. So there's our third card. For the fourth card, let's go ahead and line everything up. So I'm going to line up my card base and my card layer like this. I'm going to insert my punch, and I'm going to punch into both layers at the same time. Then I'm going to go ahead and add this, but before I do, I'm going to add some ribbon. And then I added just a few of those enamel hearts on the inside. I love how you can, when you open this up, you can see the same thing. I did do some interiors on the other cards. I'll show you those at the end. Let me grab that basic white cardstock now, and I'm going to stamp this heart in black. That's a fun little layer. We're going to add that to this piece here, along with another one that I've already stamped, and along with the High Valentine. So I took that pretty petal pink layer, flipped it over, and now I have the white side instead. And that'll go on the front of this card. It's going to connect like this. Now I got smart this time. So I have the card base and the front connected and lined up. I'm going to add the adhesive here. So much faster than how I did it last time. There's that. And then we'll add this to the front of the card. And I think I'm just going to tape it straight down. You could put dimensionals there, but I don't want to get dimensional happy. We're just going to go ahead and do it this way. I'm going to stop right here for just a second and share a little bit of news. Basic White is a new white that Stampin' Up! Is carrying. They had some issues with being able to continue on with Whisper White. Whisper White, as you can see, and I'll just kind of angle these together, Whisper White has a slightly warmer tone to it. When you put it against, and here I'll grab a piece from the kit, when you put it against Paper Pumpkin Kit White, which is definitely a cooler white, you can see that these two clashed quite a lot warmer. It was hard to do cards with them. But this is a cooler white. Basic White is cooler, and it is definitely having a lot more compatibility with the white that comes in our kits. So good news there. These are pieces that are left over that I did not use on the cards, and I'll show you the insides of them too. So you could take, let's say you have this piece, so some of these I cut different sizes. I cut like the long piece off first and then the short piece, or the short piece off first and then the long piece. But here, since this is a really, really long piece, this could accent the inside of my card here if I wanted it to. Could totally put it in there. So that's how I finished that one off. Love you. Hi Valentine, love you. This one here could be on the inside of this card base here if you wanted it to, because it's just as wide. So you can play around with those extra leftover pieces and see if there's anything you want to do with them. And of course there's extra hearts too, and those little enamel hearts. So I've got the flowers in there, the hearts on that one. You've already seen the inside of this. And definitely you could take and play around with those hearts too. The inside of this one looks like this. And the inside of this one looks like that. So yes, you can get 20 cards from one kit that normally makes 8. I added, of course, the heart punch pack, the black ink, the white cardstock, and the white envelopes. So now I'm going to move over to the add-on kit, and I know not all of you have gotten the add-on kit. You may not feel like you need it, and that's fine, but I do want to still point out some of the wonderful things about it. So these are the little tiny boxes. You get 20 boxes. You get 24 little snail guys that look like this, and then you get 24 labels. I'm going to use the blending brush and add a little bit of color just to the top of my lid here. And I know that there's a big dose of color right there in the middle, it's not bothering me because it's going to get covered up. But yeah, you could use your scrap paper and first rub off some color and then come back in with the softer amount of ink. I'm using Bermuda Bay ink for that. So this will go just like that, and it'll really just kind of make that snail pop a little bit more. So how do you assemble the box? You're going to fold inward on all of these creases. Every single crease is going to go in or towards the white side. And then what you want to do is you'll want to use your bone folder and definitely emphasize those creases. It's going to help the box to stay closed. Okay, the next step is to take the little tabs, and we're going to open this way for a minute. We're going to take those little tabs and we're going to bring them in. And then the sides are going to come up and over and just kind of wrap over those tabs and click into the holes at the bottom. These tabs go in here, this tab goes in like that, and you have your box. You can fit a Ghirardelli chocolate in there perfectly. You could fit two if you have the thinner ones, but I just have the thicker ones. So that's my blue and pink version with a nice bright blue candy on the inside. And then the other one that I did, I'm not quite done with yet, but it looks like this, much simpler. I used the Poppy Parade ink that comes in the kit, used the poppy colored and blue colored snail instead of the pink one. And I have red Ghirardellis in there. These are thinner because they're not filled, and so I could fit two in there. But instead of having my tab go in like this, I thought I'd introduce you to these little tiny Velcro fasteners. And you can get them off of Amazon or in a craft store. They're the 3/8 inch circles, and this container actually has 56 in there. So what you do is you grab your sheet of Velcro dots and you cut off one of each, and then you layer them on top of each other, make that sandwich. You're going to peel off the back side of one, and I've peeled off the back side of the soft side. So the soft side I'm going to attach right here. And because I have that little dip in the middle, I have to use two on this box, which is totally fine with me. You get a lot in that packet. So this one's going to go here. And then, let's remove the candy for a minute. Press those down really hard and peel off the backings on the other side. And because we already pre-lined up everything, we just have to take and come over the top with our flap. And that'll help to grab the other side of the Velcro. Now you have to kind of get your finger under there because it's not completely fastened on until you make sure it is. Okay, so now we have just a different way of closing the box. Push that in, wrap that over the top. Just closes over the top instead of in the inside like that. Let's go ahead and punch another heart from this paper. And we're going to layer it onto our scallop heart that we've already punched out of the envelope. You could punch it out of scrap paper, some color that you like. You could get Poppy Parade cardstock. All right, so now pretend like this is going to go onto our box this way. So when you position it that way and you grab your stamp, it's going to kind of go off to that side here, like that. And I know it looks off balance right now, but let's put the box together. So this is just a different way of putting the box together. What I did is I cut off one of the tabs on the cover, and I'm going to fold in all the pieces again. And on this end, the same end where the tab is cut off, I'm going to miter or kind of angle cut it in, and then I'm going to trim off this little piece here. hang on to this larger one. We're going to use that. And we're going to bring in some of that ribbon. Now you could use any kind of ribbon. You could use twine. You could use thread. But we're going to make a little loop here. Now this loop might be large enough for, say, the top of a water bottle, but you could make it longer if you wanted to hang it on a door, on a doorknob. Just kind of guess at what length you need. And we're going to bring the two ends into that little slit at the top there. And then we're going to use some tear and tape adhesive, which is a super strong adhesive. And we're going to put that across this tab here. Our whole thing is covered with that strong adhesive. Again, figure out how big you want the loop to be, and then you're just going to press this down on the inside of the box like that, and that is going to hold that ribbon in place. Now we'll go ahead and assemble the base as we always do. In fact, let's put a little adhesive in there just to reinforce it. And then this piece is going to come in here like that, although you could have it on the outside. In fact, let's do that. Let's have it on the outside, and we're going to put adhesive here and here. And now we kind of have like a vertical box with a tab that folds in. And this piece will just get added to the side like that. And you can hang that on a doorknob, you can hang that on the water bottle, you know, anywhere you want to give a little treat to somebody. You can hang it on your neighbor's doors. And that way you're socially distancing, but you are giving a Valentine treat to all your friends and neighbors. Another idea for altering the box is to cut it in half this way. And I'm just going by this little loop here. I should probably measure. Let me measure. It looks like it is 4 1/8, so we want to make sure that this edge comes to 2 1/16. Okay, now we're going to assemble the two halves as we would normally. And in hindsight, I probably should have put the adhesive on the back side before that. But now you can see they stand alone. It stands by itself. And we can fit a little Ghirardelli on each side this way, or some other kind of candy that you want to fit in there. Let's decorate the front. So I've pulled in that the Forever Gold laser cut paper, and we're going to add a snail on each side. I'm just going to put the adhesive across the bottom, and that way I can have the eyeballs pop up over the top of the container. Oh gosh, he's cute. Let's do another one on this side. And the gold leaves match the gold Ghirardelli chocolate. So there's another way that you could use the boxes. I have one more way. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off one of these ends here. I'm just going to line it up in my trimmer. I'm going to line this edge up with the 1/2 inch mark on this side of the trimmer. I'm going to hang on to this, but I am going to cut off the end tabs. And I'm going to cut right here so that I have about 1.25 inches maybe. Yeah, it's enough where it's going to act as kind of a reinforcement piece. So the next step is to take and put some adhesive on. Oh wait, we want to cut off these tabs too. We're going to cut off those tabs right at the score line. And then we're going to put adhesive on the back side here. And you can use snail, or you can use the tear and tape. whatever works for you. Okay, next we are going to fold the box like we would. All the tabs are going to come in, but we're going to use some extra adhesive this time. Kind of like what we did on that vertical box. We're just going to add some adhesive within this area and here. So we'll go straight across, in through there. And we're being careful not to put any adhesive between this area because that part will be exposed. This is going to go on here just to kind of give it a little bit more stabilization. And we're just going to put adhesive there again. But again, remember that we are not putting any adhesive, hang on a minute. There we go. We're not putting any adhesive in the middle. And I forgot, you're not going to fold these two tabs. They're going to stay open. And now you have a wider box. These tabs can come in and these on the ends can cross over themselves onto each other. We can use Velcro to close that. So now I'm going to stamp one of the hearts from the leftover envelopes. We're going to stamp the U, and then we're going to stamp just the word hi and the comma from this other image, Hi Valentine. And now it says, hi you. Less lovey-dovey. So this is what I put on the inside. You can put 3x3 Post-it notes in there, like a little pad. I have two because my pads are kind of narrow. And then I have one of those sand erasers at the top. So it doesn't always have to be candy, right? And I have the Velcro closure on there. I have another sample using that same idea. So here's the other box going horizontally, and it is being held closed by magnets. Just close it like that and it holds together. I did use some extra black cardstock, and I got some magnets and some of the fine tip glue to adhere the magnets. I'll have links for those below so that you can access those and access the Velcro dots too. So, okay, now let's move on to the last project. The last project is going to be a box from the kit products. So let's say you didn't get the add-on kit, but you still want to make some kind of cute Valentine treat. I'm going to use the centimeter marks on my trimmer here. So I'm going to go to 12 centimeters. And I switched out the cardstock because I want to use red for this instead. So we're going to cut at 12 centimeters. And then we're going to rotate and we're going to cut at 12 centimeters again. So it's a square. There is a score line that will remain in the card base piece here, but we're going to ignore it. We're not going to fold on it. We are going to use it, but we're not going to fold it. So let's go in the other direction now. We're going to be opposite of where that score line is, and we're going to score at 1 centimeter, using this side of our trimmer for the measurements. So 1 centimeter, flip it around, and now we're going to go to 3.5, to 6.5, and to 9. We're going to rotate in the other direction so that our small little piece here is up towards the top. Our 1 centimeter score line is up towards the top, and we're going to score at just under 3 centimeters. So not quite that other mark. It's not going to be 2 9/10. It's going to be just between the two of them. And before we move the paper, we are going to cut, and we're going to cut up to that first score line, which we'd probably be able to see better if we had this flipped over. So maybe I'll flip it over for the second one. And then we're going to come down again onto the second score line that we made and continue cutting. Let me flip this over so you can see it better. So you see what I did there? Actually, I didn't get it all the way. There we go. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to go to just under the 3 centimeter mark. And we're going to score, and then we're going to trim up to this score line, lift it, place it back down, and trim all the way out again. At this point, while it is still flat, you would decorate it. And this piece here, by the way, you can use as a scrap. So we're going to stamp our snail, and we're going to punch him out with a 1.5 inch circle punch. And now let's add the adhesive to our box. And you can see where I place the adhesive. I have it on these little tabs here. I also have it just inside this base here, on this portion below the score line and on this portion below the score line. Remember, do not fold on these score lines. So the next step is to fold in these areas here, peel off the backing, and we're going to connect this end with this end, like that, and like that. And these little pieces here are going to connect in the middle to form compartments. So now we need to peel off the backings here. We're going to bring these two in like this, making sure they're straight, and we're going to bring this side up first. Then these sides will get connected like that. Oops. I didn't quite pull them in tight enough. You can see there's a gap in there. You want to pull them tighter next time, but on yours. But they're good enough. They're going to work still. And then this just gets slipped right under like that to hold it shut. Is that fun? Now, this guy here, we can take and grab some of our blends markers and we can color him in. So my intent was to color him in with blends, but do you see what's happening? It's bleeding, and it's not the ink. The Memento ink and the blends go well together. It is the fact that we're using a different kind of cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my scrap basic white again, and I'm going to punch out a 1.5 inch circle, take my snail and my Memento ink and stamp, and try this again with regular cardstock, our basic white. Now if you don't have any basic white, and maybe you have like colored pencils or something like that, you can totally color him in a different way. But I'm going to show you how the blends work if you've never seen them. They're awesome. We're going to take and color in his backside in the Poppy Parade color. This is light Poppy Parade. And we're going to come and go in a little bit more with the light on that side. And then we're going to bring in some of the dark Poppy Parade on the inside here. And I wanted that look of the two separations here, but this part here I wanted to kind of blend in more, so you can see. We'll do the same thing with the body of the snail. I like to do light, then dark, then light. The light goes over it one more time and it blends the two colors together, so it's a smooth transition from the dark pink to the light pink. So there is our snail, and we're going to adhere him, obviously I did that already, to the front of our box. On the inside we have Dove chocolates. 2 Dove chocolates fit into this little compartment perfectly. Is that cute? And I've got a pink version. Simple little box. This time I just did the body and then put one of those heart stickers in there. And on the inside I stamped and added heart stickers. And this one has kisses. So in each compartment you can actually fit a standing kiss and either an upside down or a sideways kiss. So there you go. In case you don't have the add-on kit, you can't make a ton of these, but you could always grab like your cardstock or something like that. But you could make at least 8 from your kit with these, and that way you'd have some cute little treats to hand out to those special people. And before I sign off, I just want to introduce you to a couple other products that coordinate with this kit. The love image comes from this Forever and Always stamp set, and the snail image comes from the Snailed It stamp set. So you can get your hands on some of these coordinating products like the paper, the twine, the little heart stickers, the stamp set, little heart charms, fun stuff. Now that you've watched my video, I hope you can see that there is so much more to these kits than meets the eye. With just a few extra supplies and some imagination, you can go beyond and make so much more with these super affordable kits. I hope you gained some inspiration from what I've shared. Thank you for watching. It builds creativity to think outside the box. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can catch more paper pumpkin videos that I've shared using past kits and more that I'll share with future kits. Also, be sure to visit my website at stampyourartout.com so that you can view close-up photos of these projects, see photos of other paper pumpkin kit ideas in future and past posts, and see many other great ideas that I share using Stampin' Up! Products. You'll find my direct website link in my description below. If you want to get spoiled with extra goodies like gifts, prizes, and extra exclusive paper pumpkin project ideas from myself and the other creative Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in our PPX crew, remember to get your subscription started with me as your demonstrator using the link below. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.